Hunger and famine is completely set in the Gaza Strip. Past 48 hours, 20 people in Gaza have died from hunger, according to the Director General of the Ministry of Health. Not only are the American mercenaries alongside the Israeli occupying force starving the Gazan population deliberately, and that at the point of aid distribution, they are directly shooting and killing Palestinians and using aid delivery, which doesn't even need to exist in the hands of Israel or America, which are belligerents in this as an occupying force. Aid delivery that they could allow into the Strip, they're refusing to allow into the Strip through third parties so that they can use the limited faucet of aid to kill as many Palestinians as possible. There is no both sides in this circumstance. I mean, it just doesn't exist. The UN Human Rights, the occupied Palestinian territory, UN Human Rights Office, internationally mandated to monitor and report on human rights in the occupied Palestinian territory, reveals that 10 children per day lose one or both of their legs. 20 months of intense hostilities have destroyed the protection environment for persons with disabilities and older persons. Protection cluster outlines 5 key protection risks in this regard requiring immediate attention. And this is the limited amount. These are conservative estimates because Israel, under the directive of Benjamin Netanyahu, the war criminal, has actually intentionally destroyed the healthcare infrastructure of Gaza. In Gaza, 134,105 people, including over 40,500 children, had new war-related injuries. 25% are estimated to have new disabilities requiring acute and ongoing rehabilitation. 35,000 plus people are believed to have significant hearing damage due to explosions. Israel has, by the most conservative estimations, killed a classroom filled with children every single day. Literally every single day. That's why the Adolf Hitler comparison is perfectly apt and perfectly appropriate in this situation. The reason why I make Holocaust comparisons while still explaining this key factor is that during the Holocaust, while it was happening, the overwhelming majority of the population, with the exception of like Germans, regular Germans, did not know that it was happening. This time we do know it's happening. The major reason why I make this comparison, of course, is because it is apt. This is a live-streamed Holocaust. There's proof that the Allies in England knew about it as early as late 1942. The Germans were well aware too via newspapers. No, it's one of those instances where there was surveillance and spies that actually were able to get message out, but it's not the same. It's not to the same degree. Like there was evidence. There was certainly evidence. But how can you say it's identical to what you can see today? It's like literally having a direct CCTV footage inside of the gas chamber, dude. What are you talking about? Do you think that it is the same? There is no modern day comparison due to the technology, like the limitations of information disseminating worldwide. It certainly wasn't known by civilians or even the average grown on the ground in the U.S. and UK, even if their intelligence committees were aware before the end of the European theater of war too. That's what I'm saying. There is nothing that is in comparison in the modern history, human history of the world. We have never seen anything like this in the modern human history. And what is being allowed to be done to the Palestinians with the complicity and permission of the entire world ensures that near future is filled with more of this. Palestinians are collapsing in Gaza Street from Israeli-imposed starvation campaign. A frontline report on people forced to face death from starvation or being shot in a perilous quest to obtain meager rations. Like when people try to say this is normal or like, oh, this is nothing. This is a mere blip in the history of mankind. Like what they don't realize is no, it's not. The only reason why you are saying it's normal is because you want it to be like the world is a cruel place for sure. But this is quite literally doing Holocaust denial in the duration of the Holocaust happening, with full knowledge that it's happening. It's just not even, I don't know how else to describe it. It's unprecedented because it's live streamed in broad daylight. So it just shows the depravity, the endless depravity the humans have. Like our cruelty is so epic. It's like shocking. Here is Cindy McCain, John McCain's wife, speaking as the spokesperson for the World Food Program.
The worst tragedies we've seen so far in this particular war. What happened was we had clearance to go through the Zakim gate, and we began our trek down the road. And what we saw were thousands of people running towards us, and they were hungry, they're starving. And all of a sudden, the Israeli tanks, Israeli guns, Israeli weapons from all kinds started firing on the crowd. And it was just, it's something that I hope never happens again. But more importantly, our group, WFP, our people that work for us were there too, and they were put in grave danger as a result of that.
Well, this follows a trend over the last 2 months where over 800 Palestinians have been killed around aid distribution sites. The majority of those are at the controversial US-backed and Israel-supported Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Can you be very specific? Are you coordinating in any way or supporting in any way that operational model? And what is your view on the GHF?
Well, we are not coordinating and we do not work with GHF. As you know, we're a UN agency. And so we have our UN, the way the UN operates is different from what GHF is doing. I don't really have any information about them at all because we don't even talk.
GHF is an aid scheme, is a fake aid scheme that they have cultivated, that they've created so they can kill Palestinians at the point of aid distribution. That is literally, that is what it is. It sounds so depraved, but that is what it is. It's like the Nazis feeding the people in the concentration camps before executing them, and the food that they're delivering to the people in the concentration camps are still like limited, incredibly calorically restricted, just as though the gas chambers themselves were billed as like showers. Okay, it's perfidy. It's lying. You're lying to people. You're saying, hey, come in. Oh, you have no aid, you have no food because we have not allowed it to come into the strip. There are hundreds of trucks waiting on the other side of the border, and basically the remaining starving Palestinian population is so desperate for that aid that even if they shoot at them every single day, which they have, they've killed hundreds of people, more than 600, 700 people, just at the aid distribution sites. They're using the aid as bait to lure Palestinian children and Palestinian men and Palestinian women into the aid distribution sites where American mercenaries shoot them and kill them. The Israeli occupying force uses tanks to kill this civilian population desperate for food, a crumb of food. It's a war crime built on top of a war crime, built on top of a war crime. It's just like an epic magnitude of war crimes. It's not just a difference in opinion. It's just like incredibly evil shit. And a state that conducts these kinds of evil activities, our state included, is completely morally bankrupt. It's just pure evil. So that's why I get frustrated with even the likes of Bernie Sanders, who apparently told Zohran Mamdani he's creating the appearance that he's minimizing the fear of Jews. What Bernie Sanders told Zohran Mamdani about anti-Semitism and pushing back on Democratic leaders. Sanders urged his now protege to be firm in calling for Democratic leaders to rally behind him, but also more carefully address what he said about Israel. Sanders, who is Jewish, urged Mamdani to be cautious about how he approaches talking about Israel. According to the person familiar with their conversation, Sanders told Mamdani he had to do a better job explaining what his criticism is not anti-Semitic and to not let himself seem like he's minimizing the fear of Jews in New York and elsewhere, feel from the threat of hate against them. It's ridiculous. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean the fear of Jews? Like, anti-Semitism is a totally separate bigotry from the actions of Israel. And every single person with a conscience should be using that space to describe that anti-Semitism increases because people conflate Israel with Jews. Zohran Mamdani has done that. He has already talked about the distinction over and over and over again. Any sort of inference that implies that he hasn't made that distinction is disingenuous. Aaron Monte says it's Mamdani who should be saying that to Sanders is true. Sanders told Mamdani to be more carefully address what he said about Israel is ridiculous. Hakeem Jeffries is terrified. Hakeem Jeffries reportedly told allies that if Zohran Mamdani wins, he can't become Speaker of the House. Leaders like Jeffries see this fight as existential to their control over the party. I wonder why. Good. He shouldn't be anyway. I watched a video of an IDF soldier saying they would never listen to anyone who doesn't legitimize the Jewish fear. It's an interesting choice of language. Legitimizing Jewish fear in this regard, as it serves as an interest of defending the Israeli occupying force, is no different than legitimizing the Aryan fears around Jews. That's it. Anyone who doesn't cut away at that distinction is being ridiculous. and is actually playing a role, no matter how limited, in the propaganda that Israel is trying to conduct. I'll give you examples from modern day. You have to legitimize my fears around immigrants. It's serious. I have a serious fear that an undocumented migrant is going to come to my house and kill me and rape my family. Why won't you take that concern that I have seriously? Excuse me. Why won't you take my concern about black people seriously, that they are more predisposed to crime? We don't take these concerns seriously because we broadly understand, at least on the progressive side, even with progressives except for Palestine side, we understand these as reactionary perspectives. Is anti-Semitism a real bigotry? Of course it is. But in this conversation, it is not a real important part of the puzzle. When we're talking about Israel, you cannot bring up anti-Semitism. You just can't. It's ridiculous. When talking about Israel's monstrous crimes, the only way to talk about anti-Semitism is how much Israel's monstrous crimes, due to the negative conflation, the ridiculous and false conflation between Judaism and Zionism, has contributed to anti-Semitism increasing. It's that simple. It's f***ing ridiculous. Any other serious point of contention around this is pure hysteria.